Hi, I'm Parker, and I'm at my humble home studio in Los Angeles, California. Today I'm continuing my series on creative vocal processing with Soundtoys plugins. This time I'll be focusing on a more melodic vocal hook. I once again grabbed an acapella track from my favorite sample service. A lot of producers these days are working with the same raw material, so it's more important than ever to think creatively about how to develop your own sound. Let's take a listen to the work in progress track and make some mental notes about things we can try.
I got lost tonight, under the stars up in the sky. Directions hard to find, under the stars up in the sky.
Right off the bat, I'm noticing there's a lot of space between the vocal phrases. That's space that we can fill with cool sound. And I'm taking note of the lyrics. If a singer or a writer that you're working with has already crafted the words, they're handing you a rubric. I got lost tonight, directions hard to find. I hear lines like these and I start imagining effects that will reinforce the theme of disorientation that's in the lyrics. Some heavy-handed delay or reverb, pitch modulation. With this in mind, let's jump back into the DAW. I've sent the lead vocal to a return track and loaded on EffectRack. This will allow me to easily experiment with all my Soundtoys plugins in one place. I'm dragging on PrimalTap and turning the mix all the way to wet. I want to adjust the timing of the delay so that it falls in between the lyrics. I'm going to do this with the multiply knob. In addition to making the delay 8 times longer than the main setting, the sample rate is also reduced to a very vibey and lo-fi 1.5 kilohertz, just as it would be with the original hardware unit that the PrimalTap models.
I got lost tonight, under the stars up in the sky.
I want more stereo width. If the singer feels lost tonight, the listener should feel like they're in a space that's big enough to get lost in. Disabling the link allows the left and right side to have their own delay times.
I got lost tonight, under the stars up in the sky.
Very cool, but now the delay on the right side is overlapping with the lead vocal too much. Bringing down that volume will help it recede into the distance. And to add some color, I'm going to drive the input and increase the feedback. Filtering out some low and highs will help focus the sound, and then I can open up the tweak menu and adjust the panning to make it even wider. Another way to reinforce the feeling of uncertainty in the vocal is to add some pitch modulation. I'll make it really wobbly for extra queasiness, and then scale it back to taste.
I got lost tonight, under the stars up in the sky. Directions hard to find, under the
And I'm actually going to bring the mix knob down to let some of the dry signal through to the next plugin in EffectRack. I want even more delay, so let's drag on Echo Boy. I'll switch to rhythm mode and adjust the shape so that each subsequent delay is lower in volume.
I got lost tonight, under the stars up in the sky.
It's subtle, but I like how this faster delay is creating a splattery effect in a different part of the stereo field. Let's bump the saturation and then drag on Super Plate. Clicking the gear in the top right corner opens the preset menu. I think I'm looking for an Audicon sound.
I got lost tonight, under the stars up in the sky. Directions hard to find, under the stars up in the sky.
Stars up in the sky is an evocative line, and I think we can use word painting to highlight that moment. Let's make a new track, copy that lyric onto the new track, and I think Crystallizer will be perfect for a twinkly effect, so let's search for it and drag it on. Mix knob all the way up, and then I'm going to click here where it says 0 cents and type 1200. That pitches it up a full octave. Flipping this plays the delays back forward, which will make the words more intelligible. One of my favorite ways to use Crystallizer is to bring the delay setting all the way down and then experiment with this splice until I get the sound that I want. That was a little stuttery, so I'm going to grab a shorter chunk of audio. Cool, I can easily understand the words and I like the sound. Let's experiment with the delay now. I want it to be longer before it kicks in. That sounds good to me. Let's hear it in the mix.
Under the stars up in the sky. Directions hard.
So I think one way to emphasize the singer's sense of isolation is to put it in relation to something or someone else. Perhaps some swirling, disembodied voices. I grabbed another vocal stem and threw it into the mix.
I got lost tonight, under the stars up in the sky. Directions hard
Obviously that's too cluttered. I'm gonna reverse it so that we aren't distracted by the words.
in the sky.
Much better. But I wanted something a little more ethereal. So I loaded up EffectRack and created a preset. First Pan Man for a little bit of stereo movement, but you can see it's pretty narrow there on the width. And then Echo Boy in rhythm mode. Devilock next. Listen closely to the delay tail to hear how it adds a harmonically rich, dark character. And then just a bit of plate reverb. And for the sake of clarity, let's automate the volume down on this track when the lead vocal comes back in.
The sky, directions hard to find.
That definitely helped. I'm using another piece of the same vocal stem at the end of the section, and I'm going to automate a big splash of reverb that carries us into the next part.
Up in the sky.
Yo, honestly, this reverb just sounds so good. It's crazy. Another lyric that I'd like to reinforce is directions hard to find, and I think I've gotten a good idea about how to do it.
I'll have you know.
First, I'm going to make some space by automating down the volume of the delay send and return. Then I'll drop in another chunk of that female vocal.
Directions hard to find. Under the stars up in the sky.
I'll add EffectRack to that track with some Pan Man, Echo Boy, and Devilock.
To find. Under the stars up in the sky.
I'm going to duplicate the track, freeze it, flatten it, and then slide it where I want it. Deactivate the old clip so I don't get confused, and then trim this a little bit more.
To find under the stars up in the sky.
Yeah, it's feeling spooky in a good way. Little Altar Boy again. You may remember from part 1 of this series how I automated the foreman to create movement. I'm going to do it again here. It's one of my favorite tricks. And I wanted to make it a little more spacious, so I threw on Superplate and used the classic 140 stereo tube preset.
It's hard to find. Under the stars up in the sky.
I love how that adds this unsettling movement. As a listener, I'm really starting to believe that the singer is in dire need of MapQuest for his emotions. Well, let's listen out of the rap section from the prior video.
Give me this. I'm gonna get back when I feel like
I got lost tonight. Under the stars up in the sky. Directions hard to find. Under the stars up in the sky.
This is definitely way more exciting and more emotional than where we started. It may be a tad maximalist, but we can always scale back or hit mute during mixing. I think it's working really well as a lead up into the next section, which I'll tackle in our final video. Thanks for watching.